College Sevens is back in California from the Chula Vista Elite Athlete Training Center. You're watching the West Coast Sevens on the Rugby Network. Watch and enjoy Major League Rugby, Premiership Rugby, under 23, under 18s, and so much more on the Rugby Network. Go to therugbynetwork.com to sign up for your free account today. And a special thanks to our broadcast partners, TVX Video. TVX Video has been covering sports in Southern California and around Southwest for nearly 20 years. They are committed to bringing you the best live, local and emerging sports. Visit tvxvideo.com or check them out on YouTube and Instagram at TVX Sports Video. I am Ian Denham, and alongside me in the booth is Will Hooley and Jeremy Ognall. It's fantastic to be at the West Coast Sevens. We've seen these lads perform, but we're about to kick off on the main pitch between Cal and GCU.
Fantastic to be here, and if you are joining us on Cox, welcome to the West Coast Sevens as Cal Berkeley are taking on GCU. This is the semi-final of the Cup in this West Coast Sevens, Collegiate Sevens competition from Chula Vista Olympic Training Center. Jeremy, we've been here since yesterday, coming down to these big moments. It's these big playoff moments. Who do you have your eyes on?
Well, obviously, coming out of yesterday, you definitely would have our eyes on really everyone on Cal. I mean, they had a great day yesterday, and they obviously were building for the, as Ian would say, the business end of it. So, but, you know, we'll see which GCU shows up. Again, we talked about them earlier, bit of Jekyll and Hyde, but if the right one shows up, then they can cause some problems.
Thanks, lads. Yeah, we've had some aggressive play from GCU earlier, and they're going to have to keep that up today as Cal are keeping them well inside their own half with lads on their feet. As the ball goes wide with GCU, that's Jackson Gray, and he's going to try swing it into some space on the edge. But if you have a look at that, all those Cal defenders, they are swarming, and they pick it up again. Number 14 from Cal, David House, makes the tackle, and it's still in the possession of GCU. Although they're in their own territory, they're really doing well in the physical elements to start this game. They are matching Cal, but let's see if they can keep that up. Ball goes out the back, and it's held. We have a little bit of space on the edge here. Good right-hand bend and the offload, and we're up into Cal territory, but it's a tackle from the big man, Seamus Deely. But no release on the jackal there gives GCU an opportunity to continue with the play. They've decided to tap it quick. We've gone to the middle of the park. That's our number 13 there, Dylan Mercer, who've had some really strong carries throughout the tournament already. But tackle is good from Cal. They haven't missed a tackle yet, but they've given a few penalties, and that's given opportunity for GCU to get into the game. Ball goes wide. I just caught in the collision there. That's a fantastic read and a fantastic shoot. But we're still up in the Cal 22. We haven't seen Cal under this much pressure for a long time, Will.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't really had the ball. GCU just still trying to keep hold of it as they are making their way up towards the 22. But a forward pass. Good work in the end by that Cal defense, but GCU just showing what they can do with ball in hand.
Yeah, Jackson Gray with the ball in his hand after the forward pass was ruining that opportunity. But you have to say, from Cal, even though when they haven't been under pressure, they look fantastic, but a bit of pressure now, and they're still making their tackles and making their reads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had to make 10, 12 tackles in a row and also concede a couple of penalties, which put them on the defensive. So now they've got a chance to clear their lines a little bit and hopefully play down GCU and from Cal's standpoint.
Cal packs down and wins their own scrum. A little bit of a loop play, but that's really well read, and he's forced backwards inside his own 22. They're under a little bit of pressure now, but just as I say that, there's a tackle missed, and he skips out of a tackle, and that's number 22 now, Oliver Teague, who makes his way up into the GCU area. Look at the good counter up there, but they managed to hold on to the ball. It's a big man at first receiver. That's Seamus Deely, showing that he can do both. Looking for a potential pop off the deck, which has led to an opportunity for a poach, and you can hear that celebration from the GCU touchline. They're stoked with the attitude from the team so far.
Yes, Grand Canyon University are 100% up for this one. Why would they? They come in as underdogs. Cal Berkeley very much the side to keep an eye out. You look across the board, they've got a terrific squad, not just team, as the ball comes towards us in this commentary booth. A reminder for everyone, in sevens, it's 7 minutes a half, and this is playoff action, so we need a winner who will book their place in that cup final of this West Coast Sevens. GCU so far, maybe the underdogs.
Opportunity for possession here. And that's a really good, tricky play. Cal have put so much pressure on opposition lineouts today that GCU must have maybe done a little bit of homework and decided to do a pop to the front to retain possession. Good play from them as Jackson Gray continues proceedings. And we get the ball to the edge where they've already slipped 1 or 2 tackles, and perhaps they can do the same here. But Cal, look at that double man poach over the ball. The referee is always going to reward that. You can hear the cheers from the Cal touchline. And now they have an opportunity to attack against GCU. Seamus Dealey playing first receiver, even though he's a big man, and an uncharacteristic knock-on from Cal, but GCU were offside. Re-gifting the possession there to Cal. That's an unlucky one.
It's an unlucky one, and you can tell that Cal now just want to turn up the tempo as they get inside now the GCU half, GCU 22 I should say.
That's Rand Santos with a bit of a step, and he picks up off the base there. And Seamus Dealey still playing first receiver as a big man. Skips across, manages to evade 1 tackle, and the ball goes to the edge, and that might be our first one of the day, unless it's held up, which it is. That's a fantastic try saver. We're moving it right across the 22, and Rand Santos skips in. Does he get a try? Yes, he does.
Rand Santos, that man wearing 13. USA Rugby fans will know that he was making his Eagles debut not so long ago within the Eagles setup already. Even though as a collegiate player, having the quality of someone like him in a College 7 side is pretty impressive, and showing a bit of leadership, just taking him over the line there for the first try of the game. You've got to say, a lot of work from GCU, both sides of the ball. But Cal, that was their first proper attack, Jeremy, and in the end they made it count.
Yeah, they've definitely been on the back foot. GCU has really been controlling possession, and they've been, on top of the penalties. And then, one opportunity for Cal and they strike. And Rand Santos, very impressive player. He's been, like you said, he's doing it at the Eagle level, and he's now doing it at the West Coast 7. So it's super fun to watch. Yeah, just as we look at the replay there, skipping inside with a right-footed step and managing to get the ball down. Nothing too crazy, just very simple. And that's maybe what they needed after a couple of knock-ons. Yeah, I think Jack Clark and Tommy will be anxious to get these boys into the huddle at halftime and make some adjustments, because they've looked a little bit out of sorts for the first 6.5 minutes. And as I say, Grand Canyon's been in control, but now a penalty against them deep in their end could be a problem. Again, another penalty gifting the ball to Cal. GCU have started this game so well, matching Cal physically, but those penalties and giving the ball back to this dangerous team. And they're slightly fortunate there with the knock-on. And Will, they're here inside their own 22 now. It's just at the end of the half. It's 7 points to 0. What are we thinking here? Would you rather go into half-time at 7-0 and have a chat, or are you going to attack from your own 22?
I think there's so much testosterone rolling around this GCU side in the first half. I can see themselves having a go. You are right. It's only a 7-point game. Do they take themselves into the half? No, they don't. They're going to go for this.
Yeah, you've got to commend him, and it could be the right decision in the end. A double skip step, and he's looking with the right hand fend to free up the offload, which he doesn't. Dealey's trying to counter Rook unsuccessfully, but it's a knock-on in the middle of the park. And we did talk about them kicking it out, but perhaps that positive bit of play will lead to some good positivity at half-time. It's 7 points to 0.
I think a really positive half from GCU. They might be frustrated they didn't get a try of their own. I think Cal, they were really on the back foot. They had to defend a lot and had to tackle a lot. In the end, they held their own, and they managed to get a try on the board. So they will look to try and change things around. For GCU, they needed more of that, if not a little bit extra, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think looking at Cal in the first half, I think they became very individual. We talked yesterday about their structure and shape and how they keep it on both sides of the ball, and I don't think they really had it in the first half, and they relied on an excellent cover tackle there from Santos to stop GCU going all the way. So definitely some adjustments, get back into their organized shape, and we'll see what the second half holds. At half-time here at the West Coast Sevens, Cal are up by 7 points. It is 7-0, Cal GCU.
Welcome back to the West Coast Sevens, live on the Rugby Network. And Cox, it is half-time in the Cup semi-final, and Cal are finding themselves up against GCU by 7 points to 0. And strangely, Jeremy, they haven't even found themselves in this close a game. Would there be panic stations with Cal?
I don't think there'll be panic stations, but definitely adjustments. And actually, the biggest adjustment I'm seeing, obviously I didn't hear what Jack and Tommy said in the huddle, the biggest adjustment I've seen is that Solomon Williams has come off the bench, and he's obviously there.
Solomon Williams has come off the bench, who was MVP in the last tournament, but that is a fantastic take from a single man lift from Oliver Teague, and Cal are starting this second half with a bit of fire. That's number 13 again, Rand Santos. We saw him get a try in the first half, and he's going to get his second. And it's really players like that, when things aren't going well for a side, leaders put their hands up and say, I'll do it.
Yeah, talked about him already, his second try of the game, Rand Santos. A really exciting talent, not just here for Cal, but also for USA Rugby. But as you mentioned, Ian, it was that unbelievable one-man lift off the kickoff that secured the ball. And in sevens, a restart is so important. You've got to make sure you secure it, or equally, if you are the team kicking off, to try and get the ball back. Rand Santos just adds another 2. So it goes 14-0. And Cal, that's a really good start to this second half.
Yeah, as we come into the replay here, we're just going to see the side of that single man lift. Fantastic strength there again from Dealey to make sure he doesn't do the somersault. But they regain possession, and it's off that where they have the opportunity to attack. We talked about restarts being so important, and again we're going to have one right here as we see that great drone shot of the Olympic Training Center here in San Diego. Good single lift from GCU as well, and they put a man in front of the pod, and when it's tapped back it goes to them, and GCU are going to get themselves on the score sheet. That is a fantastic bit of play. It's number 15, DJ, and he has, I tell you what, done one thing well to support and back his pace to go all the way.
Really lovely play, GCU. They've deserved that. Talked about their first half performance. It was dogged. They moved the ball well, and in sevens, things can just open up so randomly. And in the end, Cal might be sort of looking and being like, how did that just come about? Came a bit from nowhere, but GCU very much taking advantage of that opportunity. A lovely ball back inside over the top. I think it was actually just over the top of Solomon Williams' head. He couldn't quite reach it, but it's literally just off this kickoff. There you go. A little bit of NBA in the air, and it just, yeah, there. So just a tap back actually from the Cal player to the GCU man. In the end, it's a wonderful offload by number 22, Lockie Jackson. And you mentioned 15 DJ, he gets his try, and GCU have 7 points.
We go up again. This is a game of restarts, and again, they've taken the ball. That's Teague. And Dealey does a single man over that ruck, and GCU are counter-rucking. That's a fantastic bit of aggressive effort from them with the pop over the top, and we're into the Cal 22. This is a little bit of pressure now, and maybe the most bit of pressure that Cal have felt for the whole day. Wide one. Can we find some space on the edge? He straightens up. That's our number 11 there, Lewis Case. Lewis Case has got a few tries throughout this tournament, but that's probably the most important one that he'll get for the day so far.
Yeah, unbelievable try, and you talked about it a second ago. All the momentum has suddenly shifted in GCU's favor, and it really started with the try from DJ. We talked about him in the last match. He was the game changer for them, and it looks like he's put them on the front foot here. So very impressive turnaround for GCU, and Cal, for the first time this weekend, have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, it was really strong play from GCU, and you could tell the way they were celebrating it. You can tell that people want to beat Cal Berkeley. GCU are up for it. Can they get this second 2 points? Not to beat, just slides wide. So Cal still have the lead. As GCU, though, have another restart.
Just as we go to this replay, we do talk about earlier in the day how coming into the business end, those conversions are going to be so important as we 14-12. But look at this. Great bit of passing, accurate skills, and he just holds it for that split second and manages to get himself Lewis Case on the score sheet in the Cup semi-final. But Cal are back in possession here, and as we skip out of one tackle, it's the man who's been taking the high shots, backs himself to go over the edge. That's our man Oliver Teague. He's not only a good man off the restarts and getting popped up for a single man lift, he can also beat a player, as he's shown there on the left hand side, skipping out from inside his own half and going the whole way.
It's a lovely solo bit of work, isn't it, from Teague, the number 22 for Cal. And again, in this sport, particularly sevens, it just changes on a dime. Momentum can change so quickly through one act from an individual, and that really was an individual effort.
Yeah, and what I'd say on that as well is that they've had 3 individual efforts now, leading 3 tries, whereas normally they're moving it through the hands and setting tries up. Now it's just, you know, athlete on athlete, and Cal was winning.
Solomon Williams will want to forget that conversion attempt, but as we watch the replay, we talk about individual efforts. When things aren't going right as a team, sometimes you need the big boys to just step up, and he's done that from just outside his 22, beats 1 player, beats 2, and goes the whole way.
That's what you need. You just need space, and sometimes just a one-on-one, and these Cal athletes, they certainly will want to back themselves on a one-on-one. That restart, though, not going 10, so it will come back to the middle, a free kick. GCU will have possession.
And it is 19 points to 12, and both with the missed conversion and the restart not going 10, these are set-piece elements which we haven't seen Cal falter with in the tournament so far, but they're under a bit of pressure here now.
No, they absolutely are under pressure, and GCU are the ones creating the pressure. Cal aren't putting it on themselves. GCU's creating and causing problems. We saw at the counter ruck on this far right-hand side, Cal didn't marshal the ruck correctly, resource the ruck, and GCU turned them over.
Right, we've got a knock on from GCU, so it will be Cal's ball. They're under a little bit of pressure here, but with a minute to go. Let's see if they have some calmness from the leaders there. Teague from Solomon Williams, and he pops himself and has a scoot around the right-hand side of the scrum, and we're up into the GCU half as the ball placement is great. Solomon picks nice and quick, and we're going to spread the ball wide to some lads who can certainly beat tackles on the edge. Tackle is made really well, and that's a good shoot from Jackson Gray, and the GCU players are really trying to swarm around the ball, and they force another knock on again. Nigel Johnson coming in and giving the ceremonial afters hit, but it will be a final piece of possession for GCU. They'll have to go the whole way outside their own 22 to try get themselves into the cup final. Will Hooley, can they do it?
Well, I was just looking at Jeremy there. We're kind of looking at each other a little bit as if to say these are uncharacteristic mistakes from Cal. Something we didn't really see yesterday. Offload sort of not going to hand, maybe forcing it a little bit.
Well, forcing it a bit, but I think GCU's also forcing their hand. So, and there's the end. So Cal survives. Very close one.
Cal have survived just at the end, and again, look at them backing their physicality at the end of the game. It was a put into the scrum, the potential last possession for GCU, and Cal have just backed their big boys and really put a shove on and managed to poison possession and end the game.
Oh, well, look, I think Jack Clark will be looking on to his Cal team as the head coach, and no, that wasn't probably the performance they would have wanted, but they do get through from this Cup semi-finals to the final, where they will either play USD or UCLA, which is coming up. There's Jack Clark on screen, notorious head coach at Cal. He's run that program for so many years and been so successful. He is going to continue to be successful again, Jeremy, but his side wasn't all that good for their standards getting into the final.
No, they weren't that good, but I thought GCU was excellent. And so credit to GCU, not necessarily a negative on Cal. They tested them. So what I will tell you is that both USD and UCLA, whoever comes through this one, will be licking their chops a little bit at their opportunity.
Yes, next up on the pitch, it is the other Cup semi-final. It is local team USD versus UCLA, and Cal have shown themselves to be such a steady team throughout the tournament, but UCLA potentially the bolters for this. They've shown that they have some real firepower, some electric players.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know about you, Jeremy, but what we've watched over the last couple of days, we've got a USD team that is really well coached and really well organised. A UCLA team, not saying they're not well coached and organised, but they've just got X factor. Get the ball into those hands, the likes of a Josh Cox, who's about to go up this in the air. As he takes it, they're pretty lethal characters, pretty lethal carriers, I should say.
No, absolutely they are, and you just mentioned it. I think they have a bit more X factor than USD. I think USD brings the shape and the physicality that will really test UCLA, though. So I think it's going to be a very interesting 14 minutes. And, you know, I normally like to prognosticate. I'm not on this one because I have no idea who's going to take this one.
Max Griffiths on the edge, and he's shown to have some fantastic footwork and pace throughout the tournament. It takes 2 to bring him down, and that brings a lot of those USD players over to the left-hand side, and they're going to try find Day and Joyce now, who's all the way over the far-hand side. They've got real electric players on each side, but it is a carry, and Joyce is going to have to play scrum half. They're playing with their ball in their own 22, but as we said, UCLA have players that can break tackles. and they are doing that right now as Max Griffith plays at 9, and again they are going to side. They really want to play an expansive game, and a little bit of a hitch kick and a right hand fend, but they are matched by the defence and the intensity from USD.
And you can just see on screen there the bench of USD were really stoked about that, getting off their feet. There's an excellent defensive set, filling the field, putting that man under pressure by the touchline. As we say in rugby, the touchline's the best defender on the field. Use him. And they did there as USD put this ball in at the line-out.
USD trying to pop one to the middle to Paul Habib, but it doesn't go to hand. Looks like that is a knock-on, and the ball will be to UCLA, but territory still lies with USD. They won't be happy with that line out there. A great option for possession just outside the 22. Caulfield and Habib getting it wrong, but they'll try to keep them right up here in the UCLA half.
You could maybe say, actually, the wind has picked up. I'm looking at the flags in the distance. That wind is going from across our camera from right to left. So UCLA will have it, but it does make it when you're throwing that ball into the line out. It needs to be thrown straight. Maybe the wind made a bit of an impact.
Just as Caleb Thomasine thought he was coming away with the ball, UCLA have been awarded a penalty, and a great note with that wind. Possibly, would these guys put the boot to ball, put it up all the way down the far side now they have the wind at their backs?
I think potentially off a penalty, maybe it's an easy way of getting territory, but UCLA backing themselves to do it with ball in hand.
Dane Joyce with the carry and Max Griffiths over the ruck. That's their two speedsters together. So it's more playmakers on this side, but a little bit of footwork is shown, and a left-footed step from Vincent Dalue wearing the number 2, and they're awarded a penalty again. It's a little bit of discipline errors from USD, which we actually talked about earlier, are letting them down right now.
Yeah, what's crazy is UCLA really hasn't been outside of their 22 until now. So they've been pinned deep. They've had some possession, moved edge to edge, but they haven't got anywhere. Now they're starting to make a few strides, but still deep in their half.
Yeah, that's actually Josh Cox there at number 2, who's played so well from them throughout the tournament. Just a little bit of a jersey change as we see Max Griffith restart it. We still haven't been in the USD half, even though there's been so much possession for UCLA. We are seeing an expansive attack against a stern defence. How's this one going to go?
Well,
you can call it, Will.
You can just tell that USD are getting a lot of energy from their defence. They are working hard. They're getting 7 men on their feet, which is hard to attack against, as they make themselves look wide across the field. And now UCLA just going backwards, but now do they find a bit of space?
Yeah, there's some space on the edge here. Sorry, go ahead, Ian.
Cade Caulfield tracking in D, and Paulie Habib, 2 of the forwards, real physical forwards, putting in an effort there, and Caulfield rips that ball away, and he's absolutely stoked with himself as Paul Habib looks to take it quick and goes to Thomasine, and now it's a chance for USD to get themselves on the board. Thomasine tries to skip out of one, but he's pulled down by Dane Joyce, who gets to his feet, shows some space and goes for the poach. Fantastic piece of individual effort from him, and he again goes quick. We're not really getting a rest in this one.
As you can tell, it's the tempo that both teams are trying to inject. You just wonder whether one side's going to just get a bit of fatigue and let something loose.
That's Max Griffiths on the edge there. He gets that away to Dane Joyce. They've really got some hot steppers, but it's USD that are really chaperoning them well, and they've managed to win a breakdown penalty. It is a first half. It's 0-0. It's probably one of the more low-scoring games we've seen, but a little breakaway from the number 10 there, thrower.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a 0-0 game, does it? We got another penalty against UCLA now, so USD will have one more chance to strike. But I think it's the most exciting scoreless game that we've had all tournament.
Exactly. Refs just calling time here with a substitution, and you can see that we're back up in the UCLA half. We actually haven't been in the San Diego State half. We talked about kicking a little bit, Will. It's not something that you see too much in the sevens game, but if they have 7 up in D, is that something that the UCLA team should consider?
I think it's definitely potential. You just all got to be on the same wavelength. You're going to kick the ball through, have your chasers there. But both teams looking to keep the ball in hand as USD move it to that edge, but fortunately just a knock on.
Uncharacteristic knock on from Fouts there will give possession back to UCLA.
Yeah, most of the work's happening on UCLA's right side of the field, USD's left, and again just a lot of back and forth, some decent carries, but better defense than attack, and so far the defense is winning for both.
Yeah, we can see some messaging coming on from the UCLA touchline, trying to steady the ship. They've got Lucas LeCamp over there helping out, Olympian and USA Sevens player, former UCLA player as well. So they've got plenty of rugby IQ on the touchline trying to get messages on.
I don't know what the penalty count is, Will. Maybe you've kept better track of it, but there's a lot of penalties in this half.
And it's going back and forth, so at what point does someone decide not to be as ill-disciplined as UCLA run now?
Dane Joyce calls for the loop and he manages to get it back to his number 10. That's Latimer, and it looks like it's maybe a high shot. He grabbed him by the collar. He had Max Griffiths on the outside. Danger here for USD. And the tap goes. That's Cox. Shows a step off the right, then a step off the left, and a little bit of calmness to do it himself. And surprisingly, after nearly 7 minutes, that's our first score on the board.
And Josh Cox, that left-footed step is what he's so notorious for. I could hear on the sideline before in the phases how USD, they were telling, watch number 2's left foot step. Well, in the end, it was the right, then followed by the left from Josh Cox. Wonderful try. And UCLA just holding on to that possession that little bit longer. You mentioned about the penalty count, Jeremy, and then I guess it was the last penalty that UCLA managed to tap and go from that gave them that try.
Yeah, and what a great try. You know, you talked about the X factor, and that was Josh Cox in that case. Beautiful try, conversion's good, so they're up 7-0.
Yeah, just as we watched the replay there was penalties. So as the ball went inside to Josh Cox, he said, I'll take it myself, has the tap, step off the right, step off the left, and then goes in and gets the first score of the day. USD have defended so well, and we were up in the opposition half, in the UCLA half the whole time, but they will really rue. They had a catalogue of missed opportunities in possession, a missed line out and a knock on at the edge, and then again from this restart. They won't be happy with that one, but they'll be happy to go into half time. Will, yourself, just from a team like USD who are defending so well and then get that opportunity, will they be so frustrated with those possessions where they've had an easy knock on, a line out miss?
Yeah, well, I think USD really do. They're a team that they sort of really go on energy. You can see in their camp just the fact that when they do things really well, everyone gets up, but it's about those opportunities. I should say not opportunities, but when the things don't go so well, how they then react. They are down. They haven't found themselves too much down in this competition over the last 2 days. UCLA, though, are a very good side. They've shown that with that try from Josh Cox. It's 7-0. USD, they will still look to back themselves, the Toreros, and bring themselves into this game in the second half.
We are back at the West Coast Sevens here at the Chula Vista Elite Athlete Training Centre, live on the Rugby Network and Cox. We've had a really close first half between UCLA and USD, with UCLA just managing to get a try through Josh Cox at the end of the half, and they will kick us off.
Yeah, I'd say echoes of the last game with Cal and GCU. Two very evenly matched teams. UCLA had one piece of magic from Cox that put them ahead, but USD is very much in this, and they also have the wind at their back. So I wouldn't be surprised, you were just mentioning it, Ian, I wouldn't be surprised if they put boot to ball and try and play down UCLA's end.
Big Kate Caulfield with the carry and gets an offload away, and they've managed to find an edge, and they're committing lads to that ruck, and it looks like UCLA have been pinged for not releasing the tackle. Gives Caleb Thomasine an opportunity to get them flowing again. The calls from the touchline are loud to get it to the big man who's going to go one-on-one against Max Griffiths. Max dives at the ankles, and it looks like there was a foot in touch from the number 12, Josh Butler. We've seen him get it on his score sheet many times through this tournament so far, but is that the right one for Max Griffiths, just to go low with the boots, just as they go quick again?
It was enough. He managed to just get a boot in touch. Literally, as we play on, though, as a quick line out from UCLA, so they're playing into the wind. They really want to bring the tempo.
Quick line out from UCLA goes all the way to the other side of the pitch to Dayan Joyce, and we see Max Griffith stand at first receiver now, and we're trying to bring it all the way to the edge. Strong carry, which is matched by Paulie Habib, but he's pinged for a high shot now, and UCLA will go again.
Yeah, UCLA's playing very patiently, looking for opportunities. They're starting to advance down the pitch, so they won't be unhappy with their performance.
Look at that.
Again, another turnover.
Work great from Paul Habib there indeed. Smashing tackle, and he got over the ball, contested it, and Caleb Thomasine has done a lovely short pass, and we switch it back to this side, goes across the body to Josh Butler. He's got a one-on-one now. Can he get the right-hand fend going? No, he's pulled into touch by UCLA, and we have a mirror image of just where we were recently. and referee has called halt to proceedings. There won't be a quick line out this time. The lads are going to get themselves a little bit of a pause. This has been a frantic second half, hasn't it?
A lot has been going on. You can feel the energy just on the sideline between the two benches. Obviously, there's this close rivalry here in Southern California, USD versus UCLA. And you could sense it's just a little bit frantic. There's some brilliant skill work and ball movement, particularly from that USD team. But the UCLA defense just keeps holding on. That scrambling defense was very, very good. We're going to come back, though, to a penalty right in the middle of the field. This is a great opportunity for the USD to attack.
Yes, it is. We're in the center of the pitch here. It's 7-0. USD have had a few opportunities to get up there in the UCLA half and score, and let's see if they can do with that same little Luke play they run to try to get Caleb Thomasin's hands on the ball. And Kate Caulfield tries to bust through and get an offload away. It goes a little bit high, but they manage to regather. A little bit of calmness from Thomasin, Habib, and we're going to go wide. Max Griffith cuts off the space, so they run the switch. Again, lovely little bit of hustle from the UCLA defenders, and it looks like they're rewarded with that one with Day and Joyce with the poach.
It's interesting looking at the defense. UCLA's defense doesn't look as destructive as USD's, but it's as effective, and they keep getting turnovers at the breakdown and sitting on their lead a bit.
But they're moving together, Jeremy. That's the thing why it's effective. They're not sort of going away from each other and just opening up space. They're holding a nice defensive line, coming up together, and that, I think, has been a big reason why it's been looking quite good, as now you can tell they're wanting to inject that tempo in the attack. Great hands from Josh Cox.
Dummy there from Latimer, and he goes through, and Day and Joyce gives it off to Griffiths, who has good feet and can beat tackles. He beats one and throws it up to Joyce again, who drops the shoulder, and they've managed to win the ruck. Griffiths at first receiver, one pass, two pass, and they're in the middle of the pitch. USD getting a little bit of ahead of the defensive line of the edge, and he takes the space in behind. And now it's Blake Allen to carry in the middle of the pitch, gets an offload away, and we are just outside the 22 here. USD are under pressure, but they've managed to win a turnover, and Caleb Thomasin throws a big one over the top, and we might go again, and Cade Caulfield might find himself in a little bit of space. Can he back himself? Can he bump? And can he get rid of this last man? He's going all the way. The noise from the USD touchline is huge, and Caulfield, the local San Diego man, gets a try just at the 15-meter channel. It is 7-5. This conversion might be an important one.
Absolute aggression, unapologetic aggression from Caulfield, just to bump off Josh Cox and get himself down that wing. Wonderful run by the USD man as he holds the ball in his hand now. I think just trying to catch a breath. We're all trying to catch some breath. You can feel the energy. I've said it now multiple times. This conversion is important, though.
Lucas Troher with the conversion.
Looks like a great one.
Boy. That is fantastic bit of techers here on that. He's just flown through the drop goal. As we look at the replay, it goes to the big man. You've got a one-on-one opportunity, and if you're a big boisterous back rower, you're thinking, get away, get off me. And that's the best bump that we've seen all day.
A brilliant bump, and actually he recognised that he wasn't going to do Josh Cox on speed in that 5-meter channel, so he went with absolute aggression, bumped him off well. Cox was on his back feet, and in the end, a great score.
Now we've got a game on our hands at the West Coast Sevens. The restart goes high. Paulie Habib goes up for it. It had gone over the single man lifting pod, and he nearly took it. And with just 90 seconds to go, we are really in game-winning territory here with this scrum for UCLA.
Well, this next possession will determine everything, you know, down to about a minute. UCLA fairly deep in their half. They've got a long way to go. They do have the horses to get out there, but I'm pretty sure USD will put on a big push of his scrum, trying to turn them over.
UCLA have decided not to split up their attackers. They have Day and Joyce at first receiver. They have Griffiths all the way at the edge. But the first thing that they'll have to do is win their scrum. We've seen with strong teams before, like Cal and this USD team, that they can put shove-ons on the 3-man scrums. Ball goes in. And like we said, with a little bit of pressure, it didn't unfortunately go out. It came out the scrum, but it came out illegally. It looks like you said they were having too much of a shove around to the side, so it does go to Day and Joyce. And at 7-7, the last couple of possessions, you can hear the call for work from the touchline from Charlie Purdon from this USD side, who have defended so stoutly the whole day, and they'll have to do it again here now.
Another great tackle by Habib, winning another turnover.
Habib over the ball, wins the pen. Caleb Thomasine will go quick. And is the ref going to call that knock 10, or is he going to call the knock? He's going to call the knock.
Well, I could see what Thomasine was trying to do. He was trying to catch that UCLA player offside. You've got to retreat 10 meters. And in the end, you could say questionable. Maybe it was a deliberate act. So the referees allowed it to play on, which means therefore a knock on he's given. And this is a last scrum, which you just think for UCLA, you just got to get this in and out. And for USD, you got to push with everything you got.
Yeah, we could be heading for our first overtime match. We haven't seen a tie all tournament. So let's see what happens from this scrum. Should be very interesting.
As we go towards the final play of the game, you nearly feel like this UCLA team will want to end it now. The USD team seem pretty fit. They seem pretty gritty. Maybe they'll like an overtime game. They're going to try finish it here with Griffiths. Throws the left, throws the right, steps inside again. But that's ripped from him. But it also might be a knock on. The ref looks like he might blow that one up. And yes, indeed, the ref is calling a knock on. The teams are going to come in together. They'll have a chance to have a little bit of a chat, and then we will go into extra time. At the full-time whistle, it's USD 7, UCLA 7, but we're going into extra time, lads.
We are indeed. You can tell it's getting frisky on the sidelines. It means a lot to these guys. Both programs, rugby programs that's going successfully. It's 7-7, USD versus UCLA in this Cup semi-final.
Like you said earlier, Will, breathless. And we can hear the USD sideline and their coach getting pretty aggravated with the referee. The calls are going against them. So they'll have to calm down a little bit for the overtime.
And it is our first overtime of the West Coast Sevens down in the Olympic Training Center in San Diego. We are going to restart this with a 5-minute golden point. So first to score is going to win this. After seeing USD and UCLA, Jeremy, who are you backing in this overtime?
I can't choose. I really can't choose. I'd love to be able to say it goes one way or the other. Again, I still think that UCLA does have the X factor that Will talked about early, but I think USD has been in the ascendancy. And so I'm not picking one. I'm going to defer to you two.
And again, Will, you talked about the wind earlier. Could it be that a side that has the wind just decides to kick it early and put all the play in that half?
Could be, yeah. As I said, the wind's going from right to left, and with such a tight contest, you're looking for any way to get the upper hand. As now they will go heads and tails, probably to decide who's going to kick off, who is going to have the wind. I was overhearing this will be 5 minutes, golden point. So ultimately, everything is going to matter in terms of who can get that first try. So UCLA, they'll play with the wind, going from right to left. USD will go from left to right into the wind. Will that be a difference? We shall find out.
Paulie Habib and Dayan Joyce there going for the toss. Will that be an important one when it comes to the end result here? UCLA will have the wind, but we haven't seen them use it throughout the game. They played with the ball in their own 22 the whole time, while USD had 7 up on D. Should they be kicking the ball, or is that too much of a risk given that it's golden point?
Well, I think it's, yeah, like you said, it's a risky proposition, but I think with the way this game's going, that UCLA might want to back themselves with a kick through and use some of the speed that they have on the edge to try and, pounce on the ball. But, we talked about in the before the overtime, and the ball was in hand. We'll see. All
right, here we go. First try wins in this extra time matchup. Great single man lift there, and Cox takes it. Griffith, that first receiver, and this is the first shot that UCLA will have a go at this USD team. Joyce gives it to the edge, wins that ruck, and there's great noise from the touchline here as it goes back to Cox. They try to swing it, and Paulie Habib is really defending well. They try to throw the switch back on the inside, and it looks like that one's gone forward. A important one there. We talked about UCLA playing with the ball in their own 22, and this might be resulting in a pretty dangerous one here.
Well, playing inside their 22, I know they want to back themselves. We've just talked about the win. Is it maybe that factor, using it to get down the other end of the field? A try will win it. USD inside the UCLA 22. There's some great threats across this Torero's border. They'll really be backing themselves here to try and win this game now.
Absolutely. I don't know why you try a switch play when you're trying to come out of your 22 and it's come back to bite UCLA.
Ball goes to Daniel Sir, back to Thomasine, and it goes to our number one, Jackson Short, who has got himself in for the try. The referees are having a look.
No, he's out. The cover tackle threw him out.
Wonderful, wonderful cover tackle in the end
that is a try
by
saver.
one of the smallest men on the pitch.
That is a try saver. I was completely blocked by that USD bench from seeing that being put in at the 5 metre, but UCLA are still under pressure here with the line out from 5 metres out. Ball goes high and over the top, and Thomasine picks it up. Troher with the ball to Sur, and maybe on this side they'll find a little bit more luck, but that's a great cover tackle, and it looks like Daniel Sur has got himself a try. The referee blows the whistle, and the celebrations from this USD team are huge. That's what you call a team punching up. They've certainly knocked off a team that would be ranked higher than them, and they can be stoked with that one.
Well, you just see what it means in this West Coast Sevens. What a brilliant battle we've just had there between USD versus UCLA. And in the end, the Toreros get themselves over the swan dive to finish it. What a way to finish it. And that try makes the game go towards USD. They will put themselves in the final. They will play Cal. What a great final we will have coming up. But what a game we just watched.
Yeah, we talked about some of the earlier games being a little bit high scoring, but we said that these ones are going to be hotly contested, and this one is absolutely no different. It's 12 points to 7 USD versus UCLA. Let's have a look at this replay. Ball goes over the top from UCLA. They tried to hit the back pod. Thomasine keeps it alive, and just that lovely pass and step back inside. Max Griffiths tries to get there for the tackle, and Daniel Sur with the massive swan dive to get himself over. That one's deserved. Lucky he didn't knock that one on, I'll tell you that.
Wow. Again, breathless. USD, all credit to them. They looked as though they might be struggling a little bit halfway through the game, but they stuck to their pattern, they stuck to their plan. Their physicality really wore on UCLA, and great golden try, to win it. So now they have to get in recovery and get ready for Cal, while UCLA will be playing for third and fourth against GCU a little bit later on. But congrats to both teams. A great match.
Yes, USD will have to be on top show, top performance to take down Cal in that final. USD have proven to be an aggressive and stout team, but they'll have to put more points on the board. They had a catalogue of errors in that semi. They'll want to have a high scoring game against Cal. We are at the West Coast Sevens down at the Olympic Training Centre, which is of course home and training ground to the USA Sevens team, and we're stoked now to have new head coach Simon Amor over with Will Hooley.
Thank you, Ian. Yes, I am with new USA Sevens men's head coach Simon Amor. I would say welcome to the USA, but you have, of course, been here before, but it must be exciting wearing USA Rugby colours and seeing some great talent out there today.
Oh, man, I'm so deeply honoured to get the opportunity to lead the programme. There is so much talent there in the senior programme. And then I've just watched two incredible semi-finals there. That last one between, I think, UCLA and San Diego down to the wire, going down to sudden death, extra time, and that swan dive at the end to finish. And that one previously, where I think it was GCU against Berkeley, was just incredible. I loved the fight from GCU. So there's some real talent out here, yeah.
There is. I mean, look, collegiate sport is massive in this country, and it's massive for the development of rugby. How aware are you of that? How much are you trying to keep an eye on the talent that is going to come through? It will be a conveyor belt for you, I'm sure, moving forward.
100%. I'm still trying to get the understanding of the landscape here. It's a big old landscape here in the States, and that creates so many opportunities. But the more competitions we get like this up and running, where they get brilliant young talent playing really highly competitive games, getting more meaningful minutes under their belts, and that only helps our system going forward. So yeah, really important.
You've mentioned it a little bit, but simple question. What made you want to take up this job?
Look, I mean, the opportunity for a home Olympics coming up, the talent we have here, and there's the opportunity to win a medal, to support a group of players to win a medal. And on the back of that, the ability to transform the sport here in the States, transform so many lives that Rugby Sevens has been so influential around the world. It's just such a super opportunity. So I'm super excited. It's a big, big challenge, but my good God, have we got some potential and talent to work with here. So yeah, it's a good one.
Now, I'm also hearing that you are going to be basing yourself here in the US. Am I correct in that? And also, you're going to be basing yourself here in Southern California. What a great choice you've made there. As a fellow Englishman, you've done all right making yourself home here.
Yeah, 100%. To do this job to what I think it needs to be done, you've got to be 1,000% committed, and that means spending a lot of time with the huge diversity of the athletes. I mean, you go from, people know about the American athletes much more than I do, but I understand spending time with the different cultures, different people is so important. So being here 100% is very, very important. And yeah, it's not too bad when every single day you wake up in a place like this, you've got this blue sky, you're putting sun cream on, you've got a beautiful view of the lake, the mountains and stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
You've done well. Well, look, Simon Amor, I wish you all the best. I know everyone involved with USA Rugby is looking forward to you having your proper stamp on the USA Sevens men's programme. Good luck and thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Will. Great to hear from the new main man, Simon Amor. Coming up next, it's USC versus San Diego State 2. And we are back at the West Coast Sevens here at the Olympic Training Center in Southern California. Cotter Sevens is back from the Olympic Training Center. You're watching the West Coast Sevens on the Rugby Network. Watch and enjoy Major League Rugby, Premiership Rugby, under 23, under 18s, and so much more on the Rugby Network. Go to therugbynetwork.com to sign up for your free account today. And a special thanks to our broadcast partners, TVX Video. TVX Video has been covering sports in Southern California and around the Southwest for nearly 20 years, and they are committed to bring you the best live, local, and emerging sports. Visit tvxvideo.com or check them out on YouTube and Instagram at TVX Sports Video. I am Ian Denham in the booth, and I'm joined by Jeremy Ognall. We right now are in one of the consolation games, USC versus San Diego State's second side. We've seen both these sides suffer a loss in the semis, but now they're out here to try and get a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's the end of the tournament for them, so this matters. They need to produce, and having said that, you know, great carry from USC all the way down the left side, down in the corner. So the big man rumbled and managed to dot it down. So, yeah, both teams I think would be a little bit disappointed their performance in the semi-finals. So they're now battling for the consolation, but you know they've still got some stuff to fight for. So I look forward to the next about 13 minutes.
That is the big man, Livrieri, going over for the try. We've seen some hot steppers, we've seen some speedsters, but this lad doesn't need that. He's got the bulk, he's got the muscle, and just barges his way over for a try as the conversion attempt just sails wide from our boy Cooper Swan. Let's go back to the replay here. One pass to the middle, gives it to Vice Captain Cooper Swan, who tries to find the space. There's a little bit of a shoot from the SDSU defence, and finally it goes to the big man. Look at that right hand fend, and again number 17 coming in, he's used that right hand fend twice. That is a fantastic effort.
Yeah, great start for USC. Here we go, Cooper Swan with the kickoff. We've used his name a lot this weekend. He's really been the bellwether for SC, and if they want to take this one, he's going to have a big role to play. So San Diego State, you know, just needs to be cohesive. Having said that, great breakout by the Aztecs. Good cover tackle.
Yeah, Aztecs up to the 22. He wasn't held in the tackle, so he's allowed to be put up on his feet, but he's taken a shot from the cover defence. And it's back in the hands of San Diego State 2 now as they try to close that gap from the 5-0 try from Wyken Bete, it was, I'm told, who scored the first try for USC. Lots of enthusiasm from the substitutes bench cheering on the lads on the side, but it's our try scorer now. Let's see if he has a right hand fend. He doesn't need it. He gives it to the big man, the captain. That's number 4, Grandy, and he's going to coast down the right wing for a try. And USC are starting really brightly here in this game.
Yeah, the captain's, again, he's owning it. Great charge down the right side. Big strides. Nobody was going to catch him. Goes in, kick to come. Really impressive start by SC. They definitely want to drive back up the 5 with good memories in the head, for sure.
Yeah, these are a couple of teams who have suffered a few losses throughout the day, but now in this consolation game, they're looking to finish off the tournament on a really high note. We are at the West Coast Sevens tournament, live on the Rugby Network and on Cox. It is the premier showcase of Rugby Sevens, and we can hear it, we can see it, and we can nerdy feel it with some of the tackles that are coming in today as we watch the replay. It is, of course, off an SDSU turnover, and it's the try scorer who shows that he can not just fend, he can offload as well, and goes to the captain, Grandy, who manages to go all the way down the touchline to score.
Yeah, both teams will have some tired legs, some sore bodies. Again, as you mentioned earlier, Ian, it's hot here today. It's hot. The breeze has died as well, which makes it feel hotter, and there's going to be suffering out there. But USC is definitely not suffering at the moment. They're just taking it to the Aztecs very effectively.
No, they're not. They're 12 points up right now, and they've got it to Ali Ibrahim. He tries a little step on the edge, and although he doesn't break the tackle, he really extends the width of that pitch, and it's back to the try scorer now. He is a strong lad, and he powers forward, not held in the tackle, so he's allowed to get back up on his feet, but he does go to ground now, and Grandy is going to play from the deck to his vice captain, and we're going to find a player on the edge here. We're still within the USC half, so other than the big man, we're not really going forward. It's a stout bit of D from SDSU as they try to bundle USD into touch.
Yeah, I mean, the accuracy for both these teams isn't here, but again, the effort is, they just need to combine it, and the Aztecs have shown good effort, but they've had little accuracy, and they need to put a couple of phases together if they want to threaten the USC line to get back into this match.
SDSU have a penalty, and Finn O'Shaughnessy gets us underway, and he's going to have to really conduct the orchestra today, but it's not happening right now, and USC are the ones who seem to be in ascendancy. Cooper Swan tries to accelerate, then just pulls out of that gap, gives it to the big man, and Grandy's in support. Will he try that offload again? He passes before contact, but Grandy is strong. He's not going to be bundled into touch. And a little bit of a scrappy game here today. These lads have played a lot of minutes.
Nice stepping there back on the inside, but again, loose with the ball. They need to go to ground. If they can't do the offload safely, they just need to go to ground on, set up an opportunity for a ruck rather than throwing the ball away. But luckily for the Aztecs, they managed to get a penalty, so we'll see if they can march down the field and make an impact.
Scrappy play led to a penalty, and O'Shaughnessy gets to Sean Taylor, but the ball is lost. And that's Ali Ibrahim, who thought he was on the end of one. But we're going to come back there for the knock-on. And just getting to this end of the half, it's been a really scrappy one, Jeremy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's a hard one to commentate on, to be honest with you, because there's not a lot of flow. As I said, there's a lot of effort, a lot of determination, not a lot of execution. And so I think we just need to watch these boys play for a little bit and see if they can put a couple of phases together on both sides of the ball. Clearly, USC are the more athletic team, and they've been utilizing their athleticism. Now the Aztecs have got to move the ball through the hands and look for some space.
They pack down to the scrum there, and Finn O'Shaughnessy feeds. He has a little scoot down the right-hand side and then decides to put it on the boot, and that is a clever kick. And Ali Ibrahim decides that he's going to poke it in, and that creative little bit of play has brought them up about 50 metres up the pitch just outside the 22, but it is, of course, half-time. Maybe worth the effort there.
Yeah, again, I like the intent there. Obviously, no time on the clock, so not much to gain there. But I do like the intent we talked about in the last game. Is anyone going to put, boot to ball and try and play down the other end? And San Diego State tried it, but obviously didn't get the result. So halftime it is. We'll take a breather and get back for the second half.
We are back at the Olympic Training Center in San Diego, California at the West Coast Sevens. It is halftime between USC and SDSU. On the USC side, head coach Riaz Fredericks and assistant coach Sean Cooper will be chatting to the boys. I've got Will Hooley, USA Eagle, here beside me. What's some of the chat that the coaches might be giving to the players here?
Well, I think obviously this really is the sort of last game of the day for these guys, so it's about putting everything into it. But as I said earlier on broadcasts, in sevens, sometimes energy, the best way is sometimes to work smart rather than just simply work hard. And a lot of these guys are putting a lot of effort in, but having the ability just to hold your feet, get some width on the attack, not honeypot towards the ball is key to allowing your team to get the very best out of each other. So here we go then. It's USC that are 12-0 up, and it's the last 7 minutes for these two sides.
Second half is underway from Finn O'Shaughnessy. He goes deep, and it's Livrieri, the big man from the USC side, who gathers and has a carry. And we're going to go over to Grandy, their captain. He decides to give it early to the edge. And can he put the foot down? Yes, he can. That's a fantastic one-on-one effort there from USC. Rounding the player on the edge and getting it in right under the sticks. Fantastic work from USC off the restart, Jeremy.
Oh, what a way to start the second half. Beautiful play by USC. They'll feel very comfortable now. They're in control of this on both sides of the ball. And I think for the next 6 minutes, they can probably just try and have a little bit of fun, because they're definitely dominating this Aztec development side.
Yeah, that's Andres Sren there, who showed some good pace on the outside to smoke it home. And our boy Cooper Swan with the conversion attempt, no good, but we're still 17-0 up against SDSU 2. This, of course, is the San Diego State development side, so a lot of these new players will be just playing rugby for the first time. As we come into this replay, they're going to try get it to the space all the way in the edge. Grandy, the captain, holds onto it, drawing defender for a little bit, but it's really about the pace. Nearly a foot in touch there, he's close, and he smokes it all the way in for a try. We're back here, and Finn O'Shaughnessy has the ball. He's going to try get this SDSU to the development side on the score sheet before the end of the tournament.
Yeah, Ian, one thing I'd add is we saw both these teams 2 weeks ago up at Claremont, and even though this is a development team from San Diego State, they're living up to their development. They are a better team today than they were 2 weeks ago. So again, that's something for the coaches and the players to build on. It's just continuous improvement. You improve 1% a day, and then by the end of a year, the changes are dramatic. So I'm sure they'll be looking for that.
Of course, it's fantastic to hear about improvement to these development players. Unfortunately, we do have a knock on there. It will be USC with the feed again. Ishin Enta is going to feed into this three-man scrum, and the big men are keeping that nice and steady. Advantage is called for offside from the 9, and again, they're going to try find a little loop move to the outside. Puts Cooper Swan into a bit of space. Will he put the foot down and try find the try line himself? Yes, he will. And that's a very well-deserved try from a lad who's tried his best for this whole tournament.
Yeah, we've been constantly impressed by Swan and USC when they've been doing so well. I've named him most times on tries. He's either been involved playmaker or scoring them himself. Definitely someone who will certainly be their MVP over the last 2 days, Cooper Swan, for this USC side as they now push forward. Can he add an extra 2 to his name? As we're now only just inside 4 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah, there's been some great performances across the board on this USC side at times. Livrieri with a bumper try. We've got Grandy getting himself on the score sheet a few times. And again, just off the replay, you can see they had advantage and they do just a little bit of a loop move. Ali Ibrahim in the centre holding up action and getting the 10 or the 9 on his back, but he is a fly half, getting himself around and getting himself on the score sheet. USC go again.
Again, San Diego State will be looking to try and build something. They haven't been able to hold on to the ball. They're loose with the ball again right now, and they're under pressure, and there's actually a penalty against them deep in their half. So once again, USC will have an attacking platform to try and put further points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, a couple of tired bodies on this San Diego State 2 team. They've played a lot of minutes throughout the weekend, and it is getting hotter down here in the Olympic Training Center in San Diego.
Yes, it is. I mean, San Diego State are getting tired. Will Hooley's getting tired. Everyone's starting to feel the heat a little bit.
The loop around from Ali Ibrahim, and the big man gets himself over the ruck. The tap is taken, and they want more. It's 22-0, and USC are not satisfied with that. As we carry and get the offload away.
Wow.
We're up to the 5 metre line now. That's challenged, and he may have won himself a turnover there, and referee awards it. That's a fantastic bit of work from scrum half Finn O'Shaughnessy, and he decides to go quick now. He's not satisfied with 0 points. He wants one for the boys.
Yeah, that was impressive goal line defense by San Diego State, and coming away with possession now, opportunity to clear by lines and even put some points on the board. So good phases so far from the Aztecs, and nice run down the left side. It looks like he skipped through.
Oh, Diego Garcia with the initial break gets one pass and then two pass away, and the tired arm of the USC defender just trying to grab him as he went through, but no luck on that. That looks like that's Josh Bond, number 10, getting himself over for a try, as we see that great overhead shot of the pitch here at the Olympic Training Centre. There's some slow movers out there, Will. They've played a lot of minutes. 60 to 90 seconds left in this game, and they still need to put it in for that.
They're absolutely deserved from you, SDSU, and what a lovely little break down that edge. That must have felt good. Going into the wind as well would have felt extra hard. But as you can see, it came from the turnover. Well, this actually was just where you thought USC were going to get over, but no, didn't happen. Turnover was good. A little bit of footwork just to hold a defender, and then it was that little fend just opened up that space between the attacker and the defender, and away Josh Bond went.
Restart is a low one, and USC have gathered. They're going to try play out from their own half. Really, they have this game sealed up, but they'll want to finish on the high note. Ali Ibrahim, who has a few tries throughout the tournament, has a little skip, frees up an offload, and a wide one goes to the edge. A tackle is skipped, and a pass goes away. And we have a substitute on the pitch who could get himself, gets tackled, but pops it off the deck. Lovely continuity play. This will be a lovely one if they get in. Aldo Mahe. And that's a well-taken try. Continuity, keeping the ball alive, even when the tackle was made. A nice pop off the deck. That's a good piece of interplay from the boys.
Yeah, they've really shown that throughout the weekend at times. It's just been the consistency of their attack. You can see their bench there, lapping in a bit of sun, and very happy, and so they should be. After you want to finish your last game on a high, and it's that kind of work, that ball work, clearly showing that this USC team has capability moving forward. And hopefully they move forward after this win today with a lot of positives.
Yeah, and I'd like to add something as well. I thought that try was very well constructed. Great handling, great commitment, running onto the ball at pace, and well deserved.
And just as we watch the replay here, when we talk about continuity, that's great. Just as he went for the ball placement, he saw that he did have a support player, and the pop off the deck leads to a try. We talked about tired bodies, and tell you what, when you're following the play, when you already have the game won, it's very easy to let the foot off the gas, but he didn't. He followed it, and he got a reward at the end with the try. That was the plate consolation game. So fair play to both these sides, really putting in the effort. Handshakes all round from both the management, the support staff, and the players. Fantastic to see down here at the Olympic Training Centre at the West Coast Sevens.
Yeah, so I'm sure the development's Aztec side will be sticking around to cheer on their boys who are playing in the next match against Claremont. And then after that, a short drive up to Montezuma Mesa to get in the ice bath and get in recovery for the school week ahead.